Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to The Nest, where we're going to give you all the newest and best information going on in the Owlet tournament. Today, I'm joined by the lovely Jarate, LuvGangster, and Hodahoriz. How you guys doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm all
That
right.
I'm living.
you're living. Hey, at least you're not dead, right?
That's for sure.
Alrighty. Well, for those of you wondering what exactly the Nest is, we're going to be telling you everything you need to know about Owlet, including the last stage that happened, some new roster changes, as well as just other things you can expect. And later on, we will be going in to some of the big things that happened in Overwatch League and Open Division, thanks to our experts Nekkra and LoBosco. Before that, let's go ahead and tell you guys what exactly Owlet is. What is Owlet? Owlet is an Overwatch tournament made for those that are not quite at the level where they can compete in Open Division, Contenders, or Overwatch League. Owlet is a tournament made for players of all ranks up to and including Diamond that are looking for organized team play that is fun and fulfilling. The tournament is divided into two leagues, the Majors and the Minors League. The Majors League allows players up to 3,300, while the Minors allows players up to 2,700. The tournament is then divided into two stages, with each stage lasting 5 weeks and each team playing 2 matches a week. With 16 teams in the Majors League, 8 teams will go on to the playoffs, while 6 out of the 10 teams in minors will progress on. After the playoffs is the All-Star Game, where the players battle it out to see who will reign supreme. But that's not all. Owlet also offers pugs as well as channels for Call of Duty, Dungeons & Dragons, Smash Ultimate, and more. We hope to see you in the Discord and the tournament soon. Well, now that you guys have a decent idea of what exactly Owlet is, we're going to go ahead and break down stage 1 for you. So, of course, we do have the two divisions, both the Majors division and the Minors division, but let's start off with the Minors first. So, in the Minors division, we had Flashpoint taking the #1 spot, followed by TBA, Auto Oxide, Blazing Pegasus, and Expandable Odyssey. However, on the lower half of the bracket, we have Quantum Charge, Echo 6, Greyhound Solar, Penten Viserion, and Licorice Whip, who have decided to pull a Shanghai Dragons, if you will, and have gone 0-10. So, Love, what can you tell me exactly about Blazing Pegasus, currently the 4th spot, but also the sister team to Furious Unicorns?
Hello? Wait, can
Hey,
you
great.
hello?
Alright, hi, Lo. Welcome back, Love. So, as I was saying
back.
before, what can you tell me about Blazing Pegasus, currently the #4 seed in the Minors division, and also the sister team to Furious Unicorns?
So I'm a little bit camera shy. So anyways, what can I tell you about Blazing Pegasus? Well, I wanted to talk about them a little bit because I saw that they maybe one of the few teams that actually like kind of did a firestorm in terms of their roster. They just kind of like got rid of almost everyone on their roster and brought in new players. I think there's only one or two people. I think Cornish and Reliable Res. I think those are the only two that they stuck around with, and everyone else is either new and they were a free agent or they came over from another team. Actually, it seems only one player is from another team, Sir Derps a lot from TBA. But yeah, everyone else is a free agent. That's just very interesting to me. I always love when teams do things like this. It's I don't know. You don't see it that often. I don't think we saw it that often in Owlet in season 1. So I'm very excited to see what happens here with this brand new team, basically, more or less.
Definitely. However, I do have to ask, Hodo, we talked about Licorice Whip for a little bit in the beginning, where, of course, they're pulling a Shanghai Dragons, if you will, 0-10 with only one map win in total. What do they really need to do or change in order to step up their gameplay and try and take some maps and matches off of maybe some of the better teams such as Auto Oxide or TBA?
Well, with Licorice Whip, they did have a troubling stage 1, but they also were one of the teams that weren't really running with a coach. So the organization really, just as a team, they've decided they wanted to pick up a coach to make sure that they would be able and ready for stage 2. So going going forward, they picked up Razarip, who is one of the commentators here for Owlet, who will be handling the coaching for Licorice Whip going forward into stage 2. What I've understood, though, is they did lose a couple players here and there, but they are going to be returning their sort of core, and they are going to be practicing a lot of goats, is what they said. So for the last 2 weeks, they've been sort of drilling a little bit, making sure that they've been doing scrims properly. A couple people had not been that hadn't really participated in like an organized tournament before, so they were actually doing this for fun. They were having a good time, but with the ON8 experience, it can sort of leave a sort of sour taste in your mouth. But they're going to be taking stage 2 very, very seriously. So therefore, their first their first match is up against Echo 6, who actually is going to be, who is, if I remember right, only one win in the previous stage. So they are very, very much looking forward to this week 1 game. Because they think they're going to be able to surprise people, especially after the drilling and the playing that they've had, in order to get a win right out of the gate there in stage 2.
All right. Thank you for that insight, Hodo.
Mhm.
Now, I have to bring it to you, Jarate. So, TBA, currently second place, and they have some strong players on their team, one of who is Nihao Bryan. What exactly can you tell me about him? What is his role, and how exactly does he impact the team?
Let me tell you guys about TBA and Nihao Bryan. Now, TBA is in second place. I think that they're going to spoil come first place in this round, in this stage. I want to see them dominate because I know they can. They got Nihao Bryan playing that DPS. I think he's the best DPS in minors. And when you have the best hit scan DPS, you are always at an advantage in when the games get rough. And when those games get important in the playoffs and at the end of the season, you know what's going to happen. And they're going to return with a really good core. Most of their players are returning. I couldn't notice if they added new players, but I'm kind of a moron with all that stuff. But I know, like I said, I really think that they are going to be the team to beat in this minor stage.
All right, thank you for that insight. Now, real quick, I want to talk about some of the maybe bigger changes in the rosters that people might not have noticed. So, for one, like Love mentioned, we do have Blazing Pegasus getting 9 roster changes, 1 coming from TBA, and all the rest of their new players are free agents. Licorice Whip, of course, did pick up Razarip, like Hodo said. However, something important to note is Ghost Peppers, already a strong team as is, decide to strengthen their roster with the addition of Thick Daddy and Commander Huey, both who were formerly on MSXL, the Season 1 champions, but also Commander Huey was on Team Burn and was one of their star DPS players. Hodo, how is this going to impact Ghost Peppers? How will they be able to gain from it? And can we possibly see them dethrone Boosted, by the way?
Well, the thing about Ghost Peppers is talking to Coach Connor, who I know very, very well. He was in an interesting position, him and the NWC, who was the main coach for the Ghost Peppers, because they really didn't run a real true DPS except in certain situations. And they lost Michael, who wanted a shout out on this cast because of his graduation into Masters. Congratulations to him, by the way. So he's getting the shout out that he got, that he wanted. But what happened is that they were running goats most of the time, even in bad situations where goats probably wasn't the best comp to run, because they were running a sort of a glut of tanks and supports. Now that is not going to happen anymore, I don't think, with the pickups of that guy Tyler, Hui, and Thick Daddy. So with what that does is it actually provides them a little bit of flexibility in their lineup and allows them to maybe get that challenge onto Boosted, by the way, who they did play last season, but they just didn't look like themselves in that match, as I was sort of watching it, and they just seemed a little confused on certain maps. So I think with the additions of the 4 players that you had mentioned before, that guy Tyler Osiren, Thick Daddy, and Commander Hui, I think it really gives them a shot of winning the Majors division.
Interesting. Of course, they will have to dethrone the current first place Boosted. By the way, speaking of which, let's go on over and take a look at the current major standings. Boosted, by the way, with a perfect 10-0 record, followed by Ghost Peppers, yes, the Megs, Team Verdant, Team Burn, Furious Unicorns, Wisdom Overwatch, Older Watch, Power Naps, Blackjack Gaming, Chinese Takeout Academy, Vote Meme Today, Expandable Academy, 1516, and Nevermore Academy. Wow, they need to stop having academy teams so I can stop saying so much. But of course, Nevermore Academy and Chinese Takeout Academy are both very new teams that have recently come on to replace Infinity and Gucci Gank. And Chinese Takeout Academy had a bit of a stronger showing in their first 2 matches, taking 2 wins, while Nevermore only was able to take 1. Of course, they both came in with a 2-3 record match, so whoever their quote-unquote previous matchup was, they automatically lost that 2-3 with the option to reschedule. However, they do still have to face each other, so hopefully we'll be getting a score update on that sometime soon, as they're currently playing it out right now. Now I have to ask Love, and just the rest of you guys as well, what makes Boosted, by the way, such a powerful team? Of course, they're fielding some veterans in Flamia and Delicious, who were both phenomenal players last season, but are they getting carried by star DPS and player power, or are they working more cohesively and playing maybe different comps that other people aren't expecting?
Well, so why are they so powerful? They have what, 5, 6, 7 players who are all extremely strong, probably masters level, and they're playing together, and they've been playing a lot, and they've been scrimming a lot. And so, when you just have that combination of high skill level plus scrimming a lot, I mean, you're just going to win a ton. So they're very hungry for this title, and I know that they want it very much. And I mean, that's just as simple as that. I think there's just a level of skill that they have that is a little bit above everyone else in Owlet right now. So we'll see what happens going forward in stage 2.
Of course, and they technically have yet to drop a map, as their 4 map losses are to Chinese Takeout Academy and Nevermore Academy, who came in the league, but were given those 2 map wins, if you will. Now, of course, quick shout out to Nursey for graduating past 3600, but they're still able to play for Ghost Peppers, who are sitting in that 2nd place spot, looking to dethrone Boosted, by the way. But of course, big shout out to Noella, wonderful person who made all of these amazing team graphics for you guys. So just thank her in Twitch chat, guys. Just give her a big heart.
That was me
there's
clapping.
so much work.
I don't know if
It
that's
was
going
amazing.
through very well.
Alrighty, so now that we've talked a bit about both the teams and some roster changes, I want to have us go on ahead and start talking about the Overwatch League and the Open Division teams who have made it to contenders. But before that, let's take a look at some of the biggest fails in Owlet Stage 1. And to start it off, the casters decide that these logos, they're pretty solid.
Of this tournament, the next game will be Boosted, by the way, or BTW, whatever that stands for, versus
Boosted,
Team Burn. Boosted, by the way.
Yeah, I actually like how Team Burn's icon is the Minecraft burning icon, so kudos to you. Good childhood. You get to see that. As well, Boosted, by the way, is nice MS paint drying. I see you guys. I'll commemorate that.
Team Burn thought they could walk all over the point with goats, but Delicious had other plans.
Let's play the game real quick. Delicious is absolutely insane on main tank. Look at this Winston. Oh.
Small space, angry monkey, bad results. That jump right there where he was falling in the middle of the air, that's great leap timing there by Delicious.
Insane cooldown management.
And now we get to see 2 Lucios who really like to embody the phrase bloodthirsty support.
Because they're not looking at.
Yeah, nobody's looking at this Lucio. Lucio's just.
You see Lucio be Lucio going on right now.
Nobody's looking at the Lucio. Where is the? Here comes Dragon. What again?
Jolly Roger trying to land an Earth Shatter, but Wisco Tanky decides that instead he's gonna block it.
On their backside. Can you believe this right now? Now,
I understand why Trash is hiding.
Anna's in the special forces, right? This is some
Stealth
operation if I've ever seen. Contesting point. They don't even see her there. The nano coming in. Is this going to be a massive play? But the trades are on the side of Overwatch here. The shatter is huge, though. But the Reaper ult coming in. Can this finish it off? They're going to hold. Overwatch is going to be able to take this map from the Megs. What a hold.
El Penguino trying to fly high as Farah, but that bridge had other plans.
Careful if you're that far right there. Was able to find to pick the payload. Finally able to make it to its point over on the bridge. Still
Mute them.
Hello, everybody. It is now time for our esports corner where LoBosco and I are going to talk about all of the things from Tier 2 and beyond. So how are you doing tonight, LoBosco?
Doing great. Excited to talk about some Overwatch League, some Contenders stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There's just so much news going around, obviously, with Overwatch League finally starting. So there's a lot to get to here for after this first week of Overwatch League happened.
Absolutely. But we're going to start out with that Overwatch Path to Pro segment that Prez pulled together in that video that explained Owlet and Owlet's place in that Overwatch Path to Pro. So we just had Contenders trials finish in all of the regions around the world. So I just want to give a couple of shout outs to some of those teams that are going to be making it onto Contenders. So in the NA region, we just saw Square One, Sky Foxes, Chicken Contendies, Bermuda, and Phase 2 make it through trials, and they're going to be battling it out in Contenders. So that's very exciting. And another region that you all might be familiar with is the EU division. And for the EU division, we had two teams make it through. It was Shoes Money Crew and Young and Beautiful. So these are teams that are going to become household names during Contenders this upcoming season. LoBosco, are there any teams that you're looking forward to seeing making their run through Contenders?
Yeah, I'm really excited if we talk about the NA division, excuse me, if I could stop talk, it would help, right? So
Yeah.
you and I both got a chance to do some of the NA division games together, Nekkra, and two teams in particular that really excited me were the top two teams of that division. Square One, who was known previously as Path to Poverty, is one that I think really excites me. Sky Foxes is another one as well, who has some really good players, some names that'll be familiar to those of you who may be Overwatch League fans, at least in iRemix. There's a couple of players from Korea, Lastro, Phase, and Attitude are the three in particular that I'm talking about. All three of them play. They're playing on super high ping, and they've been really impressive so far. But there's some of the other regions I want to talk about as well. South America is another one that really interests me. It's a region that I covered as far as Contenders. Fury is the team that comes to mind. They've worked their way back in. They have some of their players that they had in South American Contenders in the last season. So that's another team that I'm definitely going to be paying really close attention to as far as a trials team concerned, for one that I know. And obviously, that doesn't say there aren't teams to pay attention in the other regions. China is always a fun region. So I think that if you really want to see some fun Overwatch, be sure to pay attention to that as well. All the regions deserve your love, and we get to lead into eventually the showdowns at the end of the first season, so that will be a lot of fun too.
It will be. So let's talk about some of those other Contenders teams that made it out of trials and are going to make their way through the second part of the Overwatch Path to Pro. So for Contenders in Korea, we had Eclipse and Armament. Those two teams are going to be making it forward. In the Pacific region, we have Incipients and Cyclone Coupling. The Chinese Contenders, we've got SFDD, who went undefeated. So they went 7-0 in their Contenders trials run, and they're also going to be joined by Team for Victory, making it through Contenders. And then for SA, like you just talked about, Fury's going to be there. They were undefeated as well, and Inter Esports is going to be joining them. So that's a lot of exciting Overwatch, a lot of new blood that we're going to be seeing enter into the Contender scene. But let's talk about how Contenders works. So once you get to Contenders, that is the next step on the Overwatch Path to Pro. And then eventually from there, you could get scouted to get picked up for an Overwatch League team. And that's what we saw coming into this second season of the Overwatch League. We saw a lot of players from Contenders make it through.
Yes, we definitely did. There's some players in particular on some of the teams, Nekkra, that are already making waves. Obviously, we know that the Spark is one of those teams that is at the top right now, who ended up going 2-0. And pretty much all of those players were players that came from one Contenders region or another. IDK used to be on a team called Lucky Future Zenith from Contenders China. Crystal, we haven't seen Crystal yet, but was somebody else who was on T1W along with his teammate in Gushway, who were both on that team in Contenders China as well. And the rest of the players too, Contenders Korea players. That's just from one of our top teams too. That's not including some of the other teams that we're having that we're going to be talking about a little bit more here too as we go along.
Yeah, there are a lot of surprise talent that entered the Overwatch League scene. And LoBosco and I actually got a chance to be in Burbank for the opening weekend of the Overwatch League. So we've got lots of stories to tell you. One of the things that really sticks out to me, though, is just the arena and how gorgeous it is.
Yes, the arena, they did make a couple of changes to Nekkra. One of them in
Mhm.
particular was where the broadcasters are. They're no longer in a room in the back. They actually are putting the Korean casters in the old room where the North or I almost said North American, the English casters are now. Were, sorry. So they have moved out into the stadium. They're kind of at the top, not all the way at the top, but kind of about 2/3 of the way up is where the casters are. So they're in the atmosphere now, which is kind of cool. I think I know not every single caster likes it, but I know that's one of the main changes, at least for the broadcasting side, that has changed.
And they've also got Watch Point that happens before and after a day of games. So that was really exciting to see them do a live Watch Point segment in the Overwatch League arena. And I think it really set up and just was a great way to close out the day of matches.
Yeah, I think I it's nice to not just have that like weekly show that they're doing where you're having the production sort of go and make it something where it's before and after. It feels more like something you would see. One of the things that comes to mind is maybe like TNT, or where you, if you watch, if you're a basketball, if you're an NBA fan, that's
Yeah.
one of the things that come to mind. There's a couple of different ones that come to mind too, where that's sort of the style that you see in the traditional sports sense. I like that they're bringing that across. You also see it happen in some of the other major esports games that we see, like League of Legends. They sort of have their pre-game desk and the post-game desk. They do post-game like in between too. I really like another thing that they're doing, Nekkra, which is at halftime, they've now transitioned to, instead of an actual halftime show, they kind of do an abridged version where they
Yeah.
do more of a breakdown.
Yeah, and that's really cool because we got a chance to look at some of the hypest moments in real time, almost as soon as they happen. So let's talk about some of those and kind of move into the gameplay that we got a chance to see this past weekend in Burbank. There were a lot of surprise hero picks, so I kind of want to go over those first because the flyovers that happened during the game, we saw a very interesting one, didn't we? And it was the fact that this was the first time that Symmetra has done any damage at all in the Overwatch League. And Torb, this was the first time he got a Molten Core kill after the rework.
Yeah, the first time that both of those heroes really, I mean, we saw Torbjorn make it in before, but in the current iteration of Torbjorn, it was the first time. And of course, we saw as well the Symmetra, sure, for the one who played that, the Torbjorn coming out from Defran. And Defran played it really well. They ended up winning that map. He did switch off of it, so he didn't play it the entire time. And then we did see it again in a game 5 situation as well from Defran. So you saw some really, really good play from Defran just as a whole, but him on that specific hero, you definitely did too. Same thing for the Symmetra. You get what they were trying to do. Is a little bit different of a situation. They didn't use it quite as long. So it was still cool to see two heroes that people thought would never really get a chance to get in actually do so. So I think that's definitely one of the awesome things that we did see come out of this. We didn't just see goats, it wasn't resident sleeper like some will say. It was really, really good Overwatch all throughout, even if the goats wasn't exactly perfect.
And I think that's something important to note, that the standings actually don't reflect the skill level of the teams that we were able to see during Overwatch League, right? Because there are a lot of chatter on social media that said, this really does come down to a 50-50 whether a team is going to take it. And we know how that goats v goats matchup can work. It really does come down to a toss up.
I wouldn't say it's down to a toss up, but it's down to teams knowing what they're supposed to be doing inside of that composition of goats. I think that is the one thing that we didn't completely see every single time. There were teams that definitely had more of a grasp than other ones. when you look at a team like Paris Eternal, who comes from a lot of players from a region where goats is so heavily played. They definitely had the best grasp, perhaps, along with the Vancouver Titans, who came from Contenders Korea as runaway.
Right.
Those two teams in particular, to me, had the best grasp of goats, and it really showed at times in their games. So I think that the other teams are going to catch up in that respects. But when the teams are all really good, then it's a matter of understanding when it's best to go and push in on that other team.
And let's talk about that too in terms of the standings. Vancouver Titans is sitting at 4th right now because of their 1-0 standing from this past weekend. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. I think it is pretty apparent who's going to be at the top. I think Philly Fusion definitely deserves to be up there. Hangzhou Spark is a little bit of an interesting team to see going up so far in the standings because they are tied for first right now, going 2-0 in the opening weekend. Do you think that's going to stick for them, or do you expect that maybe it was just the matchups that they had?
I think the matchups definitely played into it, Nekkra. I think the Spark did have a little bit of a favorable beginning because Shanghai Dragons, obviously without a main tank, Gamzu wasn't comfortable playing in that first game. And I don't think Gamzu was comfortable playing in the Dragons' second game either.
Yeah.
So I think it was sort of an unfortunate set of circumstances for Shanghai, especially the fact that you lose your main tank that you'd been playing with for so long. It's really hard to integrate, especially when you talk about Brian Hart play in the current meta, to integrate that player in with your team. So I feel for the Shanghai Dragons, and for the Spark, it's their advantage. But they played a team in the Los Angeles Valiant that we only saw once on the week, but looked really good. I thought that they were a really entertaining team to see play. They didn't have perfect grasp of goats, but they were definitely one of the better teams at it. So the Spark being able to beat them in a 5-game series, I thought showed that the Spark is a team with a lot of promise. Maybe they won't be the strongest team throughout. I could be wrong about that, of course, but they're definitely a really good team with a lot of talent. Same thing with the other team that's at the top in New York, who definitely doesn't understand how to play the comp just yet. And that's what's really scary about them in Vancouver. Like we were mentioning as well, they only had one game. So I think as far as week one's concerned, some things were a surprise, some things weren't.
So maybe it's appropriate to say that we might not be able to make the most out of the power rankings coming out of this past weekend. But I do think that there is some history unfolding here. Shanghai Dragons, you just talked about this, has yet to take a win. Do you think that the addition of Gamsu to the tank roster for Shanghai Dragons is going to make a difference? Or is this going to be a repeat of season 1?
This will not be a repeat of season 1. I can guarantee that. I'm not going to make any like guaranteed bets or anything like that. I've learned from watching other casters like Ham Tornado who had to do a shoey. So I'm not going to do anything like that. I think Boop has to dye his hair. Like, yeah, I'm not going to go that crazy. If you're not sure who those two are, that means you need to watch North American Contenders. They're awesome casters. So please do that. They're amazing duo pair that you see that will go on with ZP and Avast once that ends up getting going again. But as far as the Shanghai Dragons are concerned, I think that it's going to be very beneficial for them. I think that they luck out a little bit here too. They're going to have some teams that they're going to play later on in this first stage that I think they'll have a really good shot. Them versus Boston will be a little bit rough for them more than likely. I think Fusions has shown that he is without a doubt one of the best main tanks that you're going to see in the league. Oh
yeah.
But
100%.
as far as later on, Chengdu is a pretty good team. I think that they have a chance to beat them though, because I don't think Chengdu wants to play goats or any sort of tanks at all, which is fun.
Does any team want to play goats though?
Not that any team wants to, but they definitely have to at this point. Your fallback is always going to be goats. I don't care
You're right.
what else happens in stage 1. Goats is going to be the fallback comp for every team. And I think we've seen that happen a lot already. I actually think, and this is weird to say, Nekkra, but Shanghai's best chance to win in stage 1 may very well be against last year's champions in the London Spitfire.
Oh, it might very well be, because guess where London Spitfire is sitting right now in terms of the rankings? They are 19th, just one place above Shanghai Dragons. They went 0-2 this past weekend, and in some surprising upsets as well. I believe that all of the analysts on the Overwatch League broadcast team thought that Philadelphia Fusions was going to lose to the London Spitfire, and that was absolutely not the case. Philadelphia Fusion came out guns a-blazing. Very proud of my, hometown team. But yeah, I know that all of you kind of hate goats. But I hope that you guys are getting a big kick out of what you are seeing on the screen right now, which is Vancouver Titans kind of playing a Super McCree composition. And we're seeing some more of that come to fruition, as well as people are getting more comfortable with the live patch changes. We did switch over to live patch 1.33 right now, is I believe where we are. Didn't see any hero changes from 1.32, but we're still feeling the sting of having to adapt to the new hero kits, and of course the change in how healing and non-consumable and rechargeable shields gets used.
Yeah, so I think the big thing too, Nekkra, for a team like London is it's going to, if they figure out how to play the comp, they're still one of the most mechanically gifted teams, so they can still get wins. I think that they have a very winnable game just on Thursday here. They're going to be the first game against the Washington Justice, so we're a little bit less than a day away from what could be London's first win this season. And then I think that Hangzhou Spark, even though they're a really good team, I think that that's an interesting matchup. You could see the London Spitfire even back up their record and end up right back in the middle of this pack. There's no reason to think that they can't do it. So I think that if you're a London Spitfire fan, don't panic too much yet. Not yet. Maybe in another week if they go 0-4, then maybe you start worrying then.
Yeah, maybe you do, but we've got lots of Overwatch League that is going to be coming to everybody very shortly, less than 24 hours, like you said. If you go to the Overwatch League website, you'll see a beautiful countdown on the top of the page for every page that you visit for the Overwatch League. It's telling me right now 21 hours, 43 minutes, and 36 seconds. So we're going to be hopefully getting into the action very soon, but there's more action for Owlet, so we don't want to take too much time to continue our talk about esports. We'll be back with more about power rankings, more about awesome hero picks and great plays when we see more from the Overwatch League, but we want to be able to get it back to Owlet. So thanks so much, Press, for having us, and take it away.
Alrighty. So thank you, Nekkra. Thank you, LoBosco. We are back here to talk about Owlet, because who needs to watch the pros when you can watch a bunch of plats, golds, and diamonds? Am I right?
I'd love it, man. You
I know,
gotta
right?
love it.
Like who would possibly want to talk about the best players in the world? I mean, so full of themselves, I tell you. Alrighty though, but in all seriousness, I have to ask you guys, Hodo, Love, Jarate, I'm looking at the schedule, right? And stage 1, we saw some crazy matchups for sure, but it wasn't necessarily everything that people expected, with, of course, both big teams such as Boost, by the way, going up as was possibly expected, but other teams such as Blackjack Gaming not getting that high up, despite being formerly known as Deadlock Gang. And I have to wonder, where do you think we'll be seeing any drastic changes in this come stage 2? Do you think maybe a team like Licorice Whip is going to skyrocket to 5th place, or do you think they're going to stay at the bottom of the ladder again?
Well, for the Majors division, it's going to be, I think if you look at the top 8 teams that are sitting there right now, the standings between 5 and 8 can shift relatively quickly. I think between Verdant, Burn, Wisdom, and Furious Unicorns, I think they'll be sort of hung out there in the middle. It'll be really interesting to see how newer teams like Chinese Takeout Academy and Nevermore, who really only came in at the very end, will be able to affect the rankings. 15-16 Vote Meme today were sort of rooted at the bottom. They've been trying to figure it out, but I think you're going to have this availability between places between 6 and I think 12. Where you're going to have teams sort of shifting around really all season long during stage 2. And you'll be probably some surprises that'll fill in at the very end. I think your top 3 teams with Boosted, the Megs, and Ghost Peppers, they're going to be a pretty solid top 3. I'd throw in Yes in there occasionally too, but they looked occasionally shaky here and there for one of the two matches. I think if they sort of settle up on the major side, they'll be really good. But for the minors, let's hope that Licorice Whip can come out of Saturday with a big win on day one, and then that will push their confidence going up, and then they can play spoiler for the rest of the league. Because what will happen then is that people were expecting almost a free win from them if they can get together and make sure that they actually play tough on some of these teams on a bad day. They could possibly surprise some teams and shake up the rankings overall in the minors division. Flashpoint and TBA were the class of the minors division along with Outer Oxide, so I don't see them changing very much. There weren't very many changes, I think. On the minors side, I think, what was the team that had all of those roster changes on the minors side, Prez?
That would be Blazing Pegasus, which actually brings up another good point of Blazing Pegasus going up against Penten Viserion, who 2-8. They're 9th place in the minors division. Obviously not that great, but I have to ask, do you think Penten Viserion will be able to pull off a win against a team who maybe doesn't have as much synergy and as much practice time as other teams?
I chalk, I guess this first week's games, it's going to be how rusty is everyone. Because coming into the first week, teams haven't really necessarily played together on a regular basis like they did in stage 1. So coming into stage 2, like if they didn't get any good scrim time in the middle of the break, it can be very sort of difficult to get it right back right away. And I think it's going to be, it's going to be very telling to see who practiced and who didn't, especially day 1, stage 1. Stage 2, excuse me, between the teams.
Yeah, this first weekend is going to be super. You're probably going to see some upsets. Maybe some of those high-ranking teams maybe got a little bit too full of themselves over this break. Remember, this is a 2-week practice time period that we just went through. We need to see what that practice paid off with, and also just in general. We did see some patch changes coming in, and that's always going to affect team standings. But I really want to see that match because how many free agents did they add to their team again?
I think it's 9. Was it
9?
Yeah.
This is incredible roster turnover, and I love to see that type of stuff. It's crazy.
Now, here's the question: why did they do it? Because they were they were top 3. I think they were the 3rd team in this list here, right? They're 6-2, right? So why would they go ahead and do a firestorm of their roster? Usually, you see that with teams that are maybe like 1-7 or something like that. But why do you think they would do something like that?
So does anybody know about any of them personally? I'm assuming not. Sometimes what happens is that, especially in these lower level competitive leagues, some people realize that they don't have the time commitment to give to Overwatch. And if like a few people are like, hey, I'm only playing because this guy's here, and that can lead to some dominoes falling, that can lead to that really high turnaround. But it could have just been something, a single domino fell, and that the leader was just like, hey, let's go for it. Let's figure it out. We weren't an elite team in stage 1. Let's see if we can get some new people to be an elite team in stage 2.
For sure.
Definitely. And of course, though, that does, like you were saying, some teams just start to fall apart. And that's exactly what seemed to happen for 2 teams, Blackjack Gaming and Team Verdant, who actually, Team Verdant, they were a pretty strong team coming out of stage 1. Going ahead, they were in, I believe it was 3rd or 4th place. Oh, no, sorry, 5th place. They were tied with other teams such as the Megs and Yes, who were in the 3rd and 4th spot and were only ahead by a few maps. So Team Verdant really had a chance to hop back up there, but they're actually going to be withdrawing from the league alongside Blackjack Gaming, who with a 3-7 record, it's not great, but again, you have the chance to try and bounce back, but they chose to withdraw. So again, it's like you say, you have that domino effect. One person stops playing, another, and just ends up all falling in on itself. Now, though, I do have to ask, however, we're going to be seeing some newer teams come in. Of course, this obviously can shake up the standings, but I want to talk about the actual teams that have been pre-established that we're going to be seeing going up against each other. And the main match I want to talk about is Vote Me Today versus Boosted by the Way. 10-0, perfect record. They're spectacular team. Going against Vote Meme today, who hasn't had that strong of a showing so far. Do you guys think Vote Meme today has the potential to turn this around on Boosted by the Way, or is Boosted by the Way just too strong a team to really lose a match or a match?
This is the time for a team to come in and upset Boosted by the Way, because you want to know something? A little bit of rust can cause, it's just, you need to win like one map can make, just like I said, it's the domino effect that you can have where you get that little bit of momentum and it can just carry you through a single match. And this is the time period for these teams. If I am what was the other team? I can't remember their name right now.
Which one?
Who's Boosted playing?
They're playing Vote Memes today.
Vote Memes today. I apologize. This is your time period, though. I want to see you come out, and I want to see you win. I'm getting yelled at by my girlfriend for being too loud.
I think what VMT needs to do is they need to understand that it's possible here where Boosted by the Way might have a little bit of sort of a skill advantage in the sense that they'll be able to sort of pull out some fights that they won't necessarily shouldn't win, but they will win. And they just got to keep focus firing and making sure that when they do get the advantages against Boosted by the Way, that they take full advantage of a 6v5 or a 6v4 and don't let it linger. Watching VMT play, sometimes you just have to go and just go balls to the wall and go for it, and then take a couple losses but win the overall fight to force them to completely reset. I saw Ghost Peppers didn't take that advantage when they were playing Boosted by the Way, and it really did cost them, and I consider them pretty evenly skill-wise. So it's one of those things, I think, if VMT can go in there and basically just be hyper-aggressive and just say, hey, look, we know we have the advantage here. Keep your counts up, making sure you're calling out the 6v4, 6v5s, even a 5v4, and just commit to the fight. I think they'll have a shot if they can just keep pressing on Boosted by the Way. But, it is going to be hard to see what happens.
I need to bring you guys down to earth just real quick. Boosted by the Way. I mean, I love Vote Memes today. Okay, don't get me wrong. Big supporter of them. I go into their Discord. I like to fun post in their Discord from time to time. They're great people. Okay?
Do you post memes in the Vote Memes today Discord?
Guilty as charged. Okay. I use their they have a little bot for like poker and stuff, like a little bot that gives you like money every day if you log in. I do that. Okay, I did that for like 30 straight days. Okay,
play poker
I do play, not with the bot. Well, all they have is blackjack, and they have
Owlet does not endorse gambling.
Yeah, we don't endorse gambling except for blackjack gaming, but they just. Anyways, so point is that Vote Memes today, great people. Deja Vu coming over from Infinite Meat after they dissolved. Deja Vu's amazing at Diva, and I've seen Deja Vu play Tracer and Reinhardt. Very good player, okay? Aresh, the Aresh system, okay? Aresh is so good, okay? All these players, I know Little Paper, okay? But the problem here is that Boosted, by the way, is just so dominant that, I don't see any team except for maybe Ghost Peppers trying to getting close to that and taking him down as of right now. Maybe a team will work things out during the season and get to some point that's really good, but as of right now, I'm looking at Vote Memes today and their schedule, and it's not looking so good for them for this first week because they're playing Vote Memes today is playing Boosted, and then they're playing Ghost Peppers, so it's gonna be a little painful for them.
Like I said, this is their time. This is the time you want to play these high-ranking teams, is when it's the first week after a break. Because you have time to prepare for them, and you don't know what they're going to be doing during this break, Get them off their schedule a little bit. This is the time, man. I'm telling you, don't count Vote Memes out. Never count the meme dream.
Look, maybe next week, Jarate. Maybe the meme dream will come back next week. But this week, I think there's no meme dream, just meme nightmares for them.
Is the meme dream dead? Is that what you're saying, LuvGangster? The meme dream
just for now. We'll resuscitate it for next week. But for now, they have to go through some tough times. Okay, but we'll see how they can fare in this next week. Yeah.
All right. Of course, Majors Division, very, very close, and all teams trying to get as far up as they can. But let's go ahead and talk about the Minors Division real quick. Flashpoint currently at 9-1, holding that number 1 spot, are going up against Otter Oxide in their first week of matches. Otter Oxide 8-2, third place in overall. There's only a 5-map differential difference. That I feel like that shouldn't be a sentence. I mean, like, that's just weird. Anyways, only a 5-map differential difference between the two teams. Otter Oxide 8-2, Flashpoint 9-1. Do you guys think we can see Otter Oxide turn it around on Flashpoint and come out with a win with star players such as Massive and others on the team?
I'll go first. Oxide, has a variety of DPS that they run. Bird, being their fair specialist on the other side, has been good at breaking what goats comps they run into in the minors division. But I think with regards to minors, the flexibility between the two teams, I think, is going to determine who ends up winning that match. And chalk that up also to a little bit of time. I'm not exactly sure what Otter Oxide or Flashpoint have been doing in the 2 weeks, so I can't tell you any preparations that they've been leading up. But for what I think this matchup is going to be, it's going to be a bit of a firecracker, I think. So I think it's probably going to be your sort of match of the minors division weekend. I mean, you're
This
looking
might even
at
be the match of the stage, to be honest.
yeah, honestly. So, you're looking at what Flashpoint has to run into this week. I mean, Greyhound Solar is their day 1 matchup. I think they're going to be all right with regards to that. And Otter Oxide has to play an expandable Odyssey team that was on the up, that started off really badly in the division. So, they'll, forbidding anything happens, I think they'll be both 1-0 going into day 2. So it'll be a really, really good matchup.
Definitely. Of course, though, I do have to go ahead and ask you guys, who are the teams that we can expect to make miraculous jumps in the standings, or maybe miraculous falls in the standings on both the majors and minors side? Let's start off with minors. Love, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Let me take a quick look at these standings here. I've taken a quick look. So, look, I'm a big fan of Gigu. Okay, I love Gigu. He does a really good Kermit the Frog impersonation, so I love him. And so I'm expecting his team, Pinton Vizirion, even though I don't like that name very much, I expect them to make a pretty big jump for the playoffs and hopefully get in there. I mean, it's not so hard for them. They have to win a few matches, sure, but I think they have the talent to do it, and we'll see. I know they have what's his name? Who's the new player that they got in that we were casting? Gosh, I can't believe
I'm blinking.
Yeah.
Some player.
Some player.
Some guy 47.
Oh, they got Surfy now. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so I'm looking at the roster now. I think they picked up Surfy. So go Surfy, go. Right. They have Celery Man, right? Of course.
Love Celery.
They have that Squirtle guy who wanted me to bully him. So I'm not going to bully him. I'm not going to give him that satisfaction.
Hey, Squirtle guy.
Yeah, he was in Twitch chat also. So
yeah.
I'll bully you anytime, baby.
Yeah, everyone's cheering for Surfy. Surfy, lol. Surfy is toxic. Go Surfy, go. Yeah, everyone loves Surfy. Okay, so
Except that one guy that says Surfy is toxic.
I mean, that just means he's poisonous, so you should stay away from his mouth because he might bite you and might kill you.
Right.
Alrighty, so we talked about the minors, I believe it was. Yeah, minors. I'm not a bot, I swear. Jarate, not 100% certain.
What does Jarate think about minors?
Yeah, Jarate, what do you think? What team can we expect to see maybe go down a bit in the rankings, whereas they currently have a strong point, or maybe they'll come up as well?
First of all, hot take right here: Licorice Whip is going to win a match this stage.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go.
I believe.
Right.
I believe. I might believe that's going to be day 1 where they're going to win that match. So they've been.
Yeah. What I think is going to happen, like I said, I have TBA. Nihao Brian. He claims he's the best Reaper in all of minors.
Wow.
I don't know about that.
You just said that he was your player of the whatever.
I'm just saying.
Now you're criticizing him.
Claims it. No, he claims it. I'm saying they're going to be number 1. I've already made that claim. I'm sticking to it.
All right.
I'm sticking to it. Licorice Whip is going to move up. I don't think Blazing Pegasus is going to stay in 4th place. Little bit too much roster turnaround right there. So I think they might fall in the standings. But I hope they don't. I have no idea though. Like, do you guys have any idea what they're gonna be like with their 400 new players?
I'm on their sister team, and I didn't even know they had 9 new players until I asked. So, not at all.
Yeah, that's going to cause, I think, a little bit of sort of problem. Just getting to know other people as they play takes a couple games just so you get used to what type of healing you get, trusting your healers, trusting your tanks to go forward and position themselves properly, making space and stuff. There's a lot of stuff associated with overhauling an entire roster. So, who knows? They might come out of the gates blazing. Haha. And so and actually take the league by storm, but we're not going to know, and I think they're going to be the big giant question mark in the minors division. But I think if you're looking at the other teams, if you're looking between 5 and 9, Expandable Odyssey, they ended the season relatively well, at least I thought, after like a horrible start, because it took them a little bit to just sort of get running. So you can see if Blazing Pegasus doesn't get their synergy up and running, maybe Expandable Odyssey breaks into the top 4 and then sort of holds it there for the rest of the season. So, other than that, I'm thinking, Licorice Whip, if over under on wins this season, I'm thinking it's going to be 2. Is going to be the number you're going to be betting.
I think
on,
it's
2,
1.5 if we're putting.
You think 1.5?
Line.
I think it'll be more than that. So, I think if I would go above that. For sure, because they're going to be trying hard. They're going to surprise a couple teams, and they're going to. You can't account for bad days because every team is going to have a bad day. And the thing about it is you just don't know when it's going to happen, what's going to do it, and then all of a sudden it's like you lose to a team that you're not going to realize that you're going to lose to. And I think that could happen to more than one.
Let's just give a big shout out to Licorice Whip though. They've been playing throughout this entire time. They added a new player. They haven't been demoralized. I think that they're ready to win. I honestly do. I think they have the right spirit. I think they have the right mindset. Maybe they haven't talked to their sensei enough, but that's why they're in minors and not majors.
Right. And now they have a new sensei in Raza.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they do. So listening to the Aussie, maybe it'll just give them, the accent credence to you listen to him and you think, oh yeah, he absolutely knows what he's doing.
Their old coach was like, okay, we're gonna run dive, and now it's gonna be like, here's Newcomb. All right, we're gonna run dive. That's gonna be a big difference from.
It's all about that accent, though.
Yeah,
now,
it really is.
Quick,
if he sends, he sent me a giant box of candy. So if they win more than 3 games or something like that, he needs to send them like a giant box of Australian candy.
I'm always open to getting giant boxes of candy. By the way,
is anyone against that though? Like, really? Come on.
No. Diabetics, I would imagine.
I'm diabetic.
No.
I mean, do you answer for all diabetics?
You're right. All right. So, real quick, some breaking news, which I got like 20 minutes ago, but it's still breaking news, all right?
Come on, you got it. It's the breaking news sound from the radio.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, Chinese Takeout Academy beat Nevermore Academy 3-2-1. That currently, let me double check the standings, puts them absolutely nowhere in the standings. Both teams are still the same. Smile.
Oh.
So, yeah,
that was a lot.
That did nothing for the
standings.
standings.
A lot of standings changed from that. I feel like it's all been shaken up from this.
Oh, definitely.
It's been
Of course, but hey, every map counts in the end, so you never know.
So you'll absolutely, going into the very end, that that map differential at the end will determine whether or not you play against a team you want to play, or you play against a team that could be on the decline, and then all of a sudden you get like a free first round. Happened against Deadlock last year. They qualified early, stayed up in the standings, was just absolutely fine, but they were the team that everybody wanted to play in the first round because they knew there was just something was off about the team, and
something was off.
Yeah.
Something was just off about that team.
Something.
Alrighty.
What happened, love?
That's season 1. We're here for season 2.
That's season 1.
Season 2.
That's like when a highlight is just bubbling someone. It's just season 1. Anyways, though, real quick, let's go ahead talk some more about Majors Division. Jarate, the team you coach, Team Burn, had some recent changes. Commander Huey no longer with them, won their star projectile DPS players. I'm no longer with them. I was an off-tank player. Instead, Anderson and Breathkick are coming in to replace us. How do you think Burn will fare against Team Yes, who is currently, I'm double checking this so I don't sound scuffed. Yes, who's currently third place in the standings with some strong play from both their hit scan and support in people such as Widow Only and Nursey.
Yeah, so big thing with so Burn was kind of a weird team. I mean, you experienced it too, Prez.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a weird situation. Not the best communication coming out. A lot of strife within the team. I think with the roster changes, they kind of settle of who's in positions of like who gets to talk, and everybody knows their kind of positions now. It's a lot more flexible of what we can run. Losing Huey and losing Prez is really important. Like, they were really good players, but I mean, Adam Breathjik, I think his name is, they're both very good players so far. And I think like the big thing right here is Merge is, I think he's one of the best hit scan DPS in all of Owlet. If he doesn't play like an idiot, which sometimes he does. And so I want to see that maturation of him to turn into that dominant player we all know he can turn into. And I really want to see that. And I think him being in charge of this team now, along with Edicts, they're the two macho leaders right now. And I want to see them be leaders. I want to see them bring those guns up. It's in America. We have the right to bear arms here, ladies and gentlemen.
We have the right to bear arms. Although I'm sure Widowmaker's husband wished that was not the case.
Yeah, no.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. to Widowmaker's husband. Do they have a name in the lore?
Gerard, I don't
Gerard
know.
something, right?
Gerard
It's like
Jimson.
Lacroix, I don't know.
Gerard
Yeah.
Jimson.
Jimson, let's go with that. I like it. I like it. Now, real quick, we're gonna backtrack a little bit, back onto the miners side, where I want to talk about Expandable Odyssey, who they're very much middle of the pack. They're 5th place, so about as middle of the pack as you can get. What can we expect really from them? They haven't had that much change on their roster, that much change with their coaching. So again, basically no changes. So it's more about how they've improved during the off season. What do we really expect to see, not only from them, but from a bunch of other teams? Do we expect to see a lot more quad DPS, triple DPS comps, or do we think it's going to be same old, goats, goats, goats?
Well, I actually know that they did bring in Siogli. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but I tried my best. Siogli. I know they brought him. So, Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia.
Here we go again.
So they brought in Siogli. So that's going to be a big pickup because I've heard a lot of good things about him. I think we casted him for he was on Echo 6 before, and so Echo 6 has lost Siogli now. Expos picked him up. So they do have some changes there, and that might be a big change for them going forward. And I think they did start a little slow at the beginning of the season. I believe that's what Hodo was talking about, right? Or am I confusing with Academy? Because
No, that was Odyssey.
There's
like
Odyssey,
6
Academy.
There's like 6 expandables and like 50 academies.
There's
Okay.
10. Thank you.
10 expandables. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I mean, I see them probably moving up in the minor standings, and Blazing Pegasus maybe goes down because they've switched a lot of people, but maybe they go up. I don't know, because sometimes when you do that sort of Firestorm sort of thing, it actually like kind of revs up your team and gives you some early wins. So we'll see what happens with them. But yeah, as for minors, I do want to see some team charge up the standings, maybe like Greyhound Solar, who had a very quick start. I remember them, I think they went 2-0 or something like that at the beginning. Maybe I'm getting that wrong, but they had a very fast start and then they just kind of petered out afterwards. I'd like to see them maybe go up. So do you guys have any thoughts on like just the minors? Like if you were to guess who's going to be in the playoffs right now in minors, the 6
Minors
teams.
playoffs. So that's the top 6 teams. So I'm sticking with Flashpoint, TBA, Otter Oxide, right?
Yeah.
I got to. I think Blazing Pegasus, if they can work through the lack of synergy they're going to have, they can remain there. Although I do think we have the potential to see Echo 6 maybe jump up and overtake Quantum Charge, but I think Expandable Odyssey as well, probably going to be able to stay in there, but it'll be really close fight between them and Quantum Charge to stay in the playoffs.
Yeah, so and also a big thing is that, like, what's their name? Furious Unicorns, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm just making sure. What's important is they have a huge advantage in terms of record right now over Echo 6, who is like the main team, I guess, they're in 7th place, correct? Or in
Yeah, Echo
8th
6
place?
is in 7th place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a huge win-loss lead over them. And I know that's only like 2 days, but like it's still, come on, guys. That's a big, I mean, that's 4 games right there. So it's going to be tough to see Echo 6 come, but I do hope and see that it gets a little bit closer near the end of the stage, because it gets really exciting when those playoff spots get become important.
Yeah, I mean, we saw last year that like it came down to the final day where people were fighting over maps essentially. So it didn't even matter wins at some point. It was map differential. So the thing about the differential that I'm looking at now, I think based on the map standings on in the minors division, there is a huge gap in between like 4th and 5th and 6th in map differential. So coming in, that's how teams are probably going to stay closer to the top. I mean, Blazing Pegasus, I think, will hold on no matter what happens this year to hang into a 6th spot. And then you were right, Prez. I think on the minor side, it's like Flashpoint TBA on our side. I think, God forbid, somebody doesn't get suspended or like gets grounded because they play too much Overwatch or something like that, or anything outside of the gaming world happens to them. I think you're sort of locked into a playoff spot for all of them, and then it'll be a fight for the final 2 spots. At this point, I have just no idea. So,
Alrighty then. So, real quick, I want to go ahead and give our predictions for all of the week 1 matches. So, it's going to be a lot, but, stay with us, guys, alright? So, we're just going to go down the line. Owlet Majors, day 1, week 1. The Megs versus Ghost Peppers. What do we expect, guys? Who's going to take that?
Ghost Peppers.
Love?
Wait, do you want me to like expound upon my?
No, just give
say
your
it.
guess. Go.
Oh God, Thick Daddy.
That's not an answer.
Thick Daddy's that's it.
All right, so Ghost Peppers for Love. Hodo?
Yeah, it's going to be the Ghost Peppers, I think. So yeah,
right.
that's going to be.
Megs,
it's going to be a tough match.
Take a round. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot harder for Ghost Peppers than they think, but I think it's going to be Ghost Peppers.
I want to see them. I want to see the Megs take a map or 2. And that would be a very big, I feel, confidence boost for them. I also want to see with Ghost Peppers, I do want to see what happens with Huey. Because they do have Fat Mike, who kind of does the same thing. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, they kind of.
First of all, spam that type to shout out Fat Mike.
Spam that.
Spam it. Spam it. If I don't see it in Twitch chat, you're all banned. All right? Spam it now.
Second of all, Fat Mike is like Widowmaker, Sombra, sort of.
I thought he was projectile dips.
No, I mean he plays it all.
Does he play it all?
Yeah, but his Widow is very good. So like.
Oh, okay.
And apparently, Fat Mike is a sub for this stage, though.
Right.
So maybe he doesn't have as much.
Been. This makes a lot more. I should have known this considering I used to coach Huey, but live and let learn. I do want to see though how Huey's going to mix with that. I do wish him all the best with that team, and I hope he succeeds right there, and I hope he does really well with that team.
As his opponent, I do not smile. All right, so next matchup, 15-16 versus Nevermore Academy. Who do we have winning that?
15-16. And honestly, I'm just going because I like the name more.
They're the 2 lowest seeded right now in Owlet. However, 15-16 has a lot larger of a map differential loss with minus 22 maps, while Nevermore Academy only at minus 13. But 15-16 has 1 more win over Nevermore. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
I'm going to go with Nevermore Academy because they actually just played today. Because they played Chinese Takeout Academy, right? Like just today. Even though they lost, they're more in the swing of things. And I don't know if 15-16's been practicing, but I always will go to the team that has played more of a recent game to see if they can actually get a win over here. So that'll
definitely
Nevermore.
All right, so now let's just speed fire these. Just say your answers, all right? Yes versus Wisdom OW.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes to what?
Thank
you. I'm going to go with Wisdom.
All right, Wisdom. Wow, way to shake things up. Vote meme today versus Boosted by the way.
Boosted.
What? You just said so much. Like, oh no, Vote Meme today. This is your time to shine. It's your time to win. And then
Look, I'm not betting on them.
Yikes. Alrighty. Furious Unicorns versus Older Watch.
Go with the unicorns.
Older Watch.
Wow, thanks for the faith in me, Jarate. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna go with Older Watch because of your passive aggressive attitude towards Jarate.
And Expandable Academy versus Chinese Takeout Academy.
CTA just came off a big win, so I'm going to take them over Expandable.
I'm going to take Chinese Takeout too, because I'm hungry.
I'll say Expa. You know,
Just
All
cause.
right.
yeah, just cause.
Just
Okay.
cause.
Going on to day 2 of Owlet Majors. Wisdom OW versus Furious Unicorns.
Hmm.
I can't go against Furious Unicorns. I just can't.
Love you too,
I know too
Hodo.
many people. Yeah, I know too many people on the team.
Furious Unicorns. I'll give you one prize, okay?
Hey.
I'm still not gonna give you one. I'm gonna say Wisdom for my boy Rydarius. For my boy Rydarius. Okay, gotta give one to him.
Alrighty then. Next up, we have Older Watch taking on Expandable Academy.
Older Watch. I'm
Hodo,
a big
love.
believer in Older Watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll go with Jarate on this one. I'm gonna go Older Watch.
I'm gonna go with Expandable again.
Alrighty.
Love's a big fanboy of Expandable.
He really is.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
I'm a big
Chinese. Chinese. So am I. So am I. Chinese Takeout Academy versus 1516.
Chinese Takeout. I'm sorry, 15, 16. It just doesn't sound as tasty.
Yeah, I gotta go.
It really does it. I'm getting hungry just from this. Like,
Yeah, I am too, man. I had to eat a slice of pizza during a break time.
Yeah, I'm going CTA. Chinese Takeout Academy.
Me too. 15, 16. I think they're one of those teams that like switched like a lot of their like core or some of their core at least. So we'll see what happens with them because I know that Spook left and that was like their main tank. And when your main tank leaves, that's like I don't know, it's just scary.
that's your main target color most of the time.
Yeah, I know that Nano's a really good off tank, but we'll have to see. And also there's Zenyatta. Oh, there's Zenyatta was so good. Ryu, I think was his name. So good. They have a lot of talent on that team, so we'll see if they can pull it around. But for right now, I'm gonna have to go with Chinese Takeout.
All right, Ghost Peppers versus Vote Meme Today.
Vote Meme Today. Do you know what? I crapped earlier, and now they made me feel terrible. So now I'm voting for memes today.
If VMT beats boosted in day 1, they will be able to beat Ghost Peppers in day 2. But I'm gonna go with the Peppers in day 2.
I'm trying to think of some crazy thing I can do. Like if VMT beats boosted, by the way, in Ghost Peppers, I'd have to do something crazy. I'm trying to think of something like that.
Do the
some
ice
sort of thing,
bucket challenge.
I think you should admit to everyone within that everyone that you're a furry.
All right,
So do you know what a shoey is? What Ham had to do on Contenders?
No, what's the shoey?
Shoey is taking a shoe and doing a shot of something out of it. So
I heard of this.
a shot like a shoe that you've worn, and you
Okay.
pour like a beer or a shot of vodka or something like that,
I
swirl it
think that
around,
should
and
be
then
it.
drink it.
I think that should be it. Like next time we have the nest, you're gonna do a shoey if they win.
All right,
Yeah.
if Vote Memes Today beats
Both. They have to be both.
Oh, they have to beat both. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Or
If
do you
they-
want them to? Oh, do you think they can beat one of them? Because if you
No,
think-
I'm so confident that they're not going to beat either of these teams. But I that's not because of Vote Memes Today. It's just because these two teams are the top two teams and they're so good and they have really great players. So like, why would I go against that? But
LuvGangster. I think you should really show them how dedicated you are. You take a challenge that if Vote Memes Today wins both times, you have to eat your cereal with no milk.
how
No,
about
with
this?
water. With water.
Dude, with
Oh.
OJ. Get that
With
vitamin C in there.
So
Right?
if Vote Memes Today wins one of the first 3 maps against either of the two teams, they can't win the 4th map. Okay, they have to win one of the first 3 maps. Okay, I will.
You're
I'll
that
do it.
confident.
What can I say?
Do a shoey. Do a
You'll
shoey.
do a shoey. All right, you guys heard it here. If Vote Meme Today takes one of the first 3 maps off, both boosted by the way, and Ghost Peppers.
Right.
Yeah.
LuvGangster will do a shoey next week. Hold him to it, guys. Hold him
Yep.
to it.
I want them to make me do a shoey, honestly. I love vote memes today, so I want to do it.
Alrighty. So, well, we went on a bit of a rant there. Burn versus Yes. Who will win that?
That's a good matchup.
I,
Honestly.
I feel like I'm too biased to answer this. I don't want to like get Pete roasted right now. I feel like you're the only person that got that.
I got it.
Well, I understand it. You can't bet against your own team, can you? Unless you
Yes,
have
so
money on it.
Burn.
I mean, you could.
4-0, baby. Boom.
Love, you want to bet another shoey here?
No. Burn versus Yes. Gosh. I will say, because Jarate is here, I'm going to say Burn. But honestly, I think Yes is going to win, but I'm going to say Burn.
I'm going to say yes just to be contradictory to everybody here on the panel.
Alrighty. And our final matchup of day 2 for the Owlet Majors division, Nevermore Academy versus the Megs.
Do you want to know
Thanks for-
something? Quote that Raven.
The Megs.
Nevermore.
Give me that Nevermore. Love.
Mhm.
Love.
Mhm.
Give me that.
The Megs, I casted the Megs a couple times this season already, and I thought they were relatively really good.
Yeah.
I just don't know what they've been doing for the last 2 weeks. They are one of the top 4 teams in the Majors division, so I can't go against that. So
That's fair.
Yep. Got to go with the Megs.
All right, and now we're going to transition on to the minors division, the one division where people decide that they don't want to leave. As I think, I don't know, I'm pretty sure Majors has almost had half the teams in there leave at some point.
Oh.
It's been a lot. Anyway, minors division, Licorice Whip versus Echo 6.
I want to say Licorice Whip. Everything in my heart is saying Licorice Whip. So you want to know something? Licorice Whip. Give it that Johnny Test episode, baby.
I have been talking to Raza for the last week. He has been practicing with Licorice Whip, trying to drill into them, like, hey, this is how you should play. I think we're going to see the fruits of that labor this weekend. I'm going with Licorice Whip over Echo 6.
Raza beat me in chess, so I'm going to say Echo 6.
Yeah.
I mean, Echo 6 has talent, okay? So
Oh, they do.
I don't know. I actually know nothing about Licorice Whip's talent other than Raza's coaching them, okay? And Raza, I talked to him. But Echo 6, I know some of the players on there. I've seen them, play, and they have some talent. So I'm going to have to go with them instead of Licorice Whip. So hopefully Licorice Whip can prove me wrong as well. I'm not going to do any shoeys, but,
You need to do like a glovey for this one because it's not as
glovey.
big of a commitment.
Okay, so next up we have Greyhound Solar taking on Flashpoint.
Number 1 team in the
Flashpoint.
league. Yeah. I think I got to go with Flashpoint too.
wait, I had to look at the thing again. What match was it? Greyhound versus
Solar versus Flashpoint.
I'm going to go with Flashpoint.
That is a safe bet indeed. All right, furthermore, Otter Oxide going up against Expandable Odyssey.
I love otters, and I love oxygen.
Okay.
Gotta go with otter oxide.
Picking first week is really, really difficult because you just don't know sometimes, and it's just like, teams will surprise you. So, but I casted Otter Oxide a couple times, and I like their talent on their team. So I'll go with the Otters.
I think I'm going to go with Expandable.
Ooh.
I don't know. I mean, I like Otter Oxide.
Do you feel it in your bones?
Yeah, my cat ears. I feel it in my cat ears that we're gonna have
Give
to
him
go
a big
with
nya, by the way.
nya. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so we're gonna go with Expandable Odyssey here against Otter Oxide. So.
Alrighty, so that's that match. Quantum Charge will be taking on second place TBA. Who's gonna win that matchup?
TBA. I've already been a big TBA guy. Do you want to know something? They're going to reach the playoffs and we're going to finally figure out what their name is.
Is that the win condition? Is that what they have to do in order to release their real name?
Yeah, they win the entire minors division and then they release their real name.
Yeah, it's like, he didn't become a Super Saiyan until he became a Super Saiyan.
You know, honestly,
Not at all.
I asked Camden, the coach of TBA, I asked him about a name change. Like, when are you guys going to actually like announce your name? And he said that their next iteration is going to be TBD. So
To be determined.
And then to be continued.
yeah, that'd
That's
be the
next
one.
season.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm going to go with TBA though.
And then
Yeah,
our
I'm going with
last matchup for day one, Blazing Pegasus with the new 9 new players on their roster, taking on number 9. Sorry, let's
Rewind.
restart that. Rewind.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, with 9 new players on their roster, Blazing Pegasus will be taking on 9th place Pen 10 Viserion.
I don't know if you can even pick this one. There's just too many random factors, right, Jarate? I mean, like, what are you gonna
Do you want to know what? Give me Blazing Pegasus. I'm going based off of name, and I like that name. Because you can't really make a pick. Well, they have 9 new people. We've never seen them. Have we
Yeah, I
seen
know.
them?
Nope.
Love, have you looked at them at all?
Wait, what do you mean? Like in
For a Blazing
person?
Pegasus.
Just in general. Have you laid eyes upon their players?
I have seen some of them play. I remember Cornish from season 1 I played
Mhm.
against, I believe, and I've seen Reliable Res stream once, and so I watched their stream for like 10 minutes. I was lurking, I didn't say anything though, so shouts out to that. Beyond that, I have to take a look at the new players on the list to see whether or not I've
Big
seen them, because
info
there's just
rate.
so many new people. Sir Derpslot, I think we watched once. He came in for one map on
Dude, shout out
TBA.
to Sir Derps a lot, by the way. That's a good name.
Yeah, so but yeah, I mean, it's one of those toss-up matches. I'm gonna have to go with I'll go with Pinton because I like Gigu.
Yeah, I like it go too. I'm going with
Hephaestus.
Pen 10. I don't know anybody on Pegasus, unfortunately, so I just it's too much of a toss up for me, and I don't know. So I'm gonna go with Pen 10 Viserion because I know.
Alrighty, those are our day 1 matches. Let's go on to our day 2 matches. TBA is going to be taking on Greyhound Solar.
TBA. How many times do I have to say it? Number 1 team in minors right now.
Yeah, TBA.
Yeah, I'll go with TBA.
Alrighty. Flashpoint is taking on Otter Oxide, 1st and 3rd place, battling it out.
What did I say about liking Oxygen? I love Oxygen, guys.
But
Give
don't
me
you love the
Otter
Flash?
Oxide.
Do you not love the Flash?
Nope.
Okay, but think of it this way, right? Like the Flash runs really fast.
Yeah.
So he has to breathe in a lot of oxygen.
Yeah, but otters, man, they are kind of amphibious. So you got to go with them, you know?
You're right.
No, I'm going with the Flash. I think the Flash got this.
Me too. Definitely
And before
Flash.
we get copyrighted.
Flash.
He's the greatest man in the universe.
Alrighty.
You're gonna get muted.
Pen 10 Viserion is going up against the Quantum Charge.
It's a toss-up game. I actually don't know. Yeah, this could go either way. I mean, I picked Pen 10 over Blazing Pegasus because I didn't know the players very well. But Quantum and Pen 10 are pretty much even, I think. So
I think. Oh,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. Make your prediction. I just cut you off. I'm sorry.
Pen 10 again. Yeah.
Okay. I think Quantum is like one of these teams, like Blazing Pegasus. I think their coach, I think he kicked like a ton of the players from the team. I'm not entirely sure if that's true. I'm like pretty sure that's true though, because I remember like some mod messages where they're like, "Oh my god, did you hear? They kicked all their players from the team or something." But you know, you guys in chat will have to correct me if I'm wrong. If that's the case, again, it's a big toss up because you know who knows when you have new teammates coming in there and mixing it up. I'll give it to Quantum. I'd like to see what they can do.
Quantum.
Alrighty then.
Remember saying that we beat them 4-0 in the previous round.
Remember saying that he didn't. Okay, so never mind. Yeah, I know you are the coach. Hi, hello. Yeah. Okay, so I guess I just misheard. Maybe I'm thinking of Blazing Pegasus, and I somehow got them confused with a team whose name isn't even close to Blazing Pegasus. So, well, whatever. I'm still going to go with Quantum.
7th place Echo 6 is looking to break in to the playoff section of the bracket as they take on 4th place Blazing Pegasus.
Echo 6.
Wow.
It's too tough to see with Blazing Pegasus, but you want to know something?
What's that?
Echo 6 just has it going on in my brain. I can just feel it in my gut.
Love, Hodo?
Too
I'm
many
trying to-
unknowns. I can't pick Blazing Pegasus week 1 because I'd need to see them play. So I'm going to pick Echo 6 also.
Okay, I pick Blazing Pegasus.
Alrighty, and now our final matchup, Licorice Whip will be taking on Expandable Odyssey as they look to get their first or maybe second win.
You know, I really want to say Licorice Whip, but you gotta go with Expandable. Love pandas, love expanding, and also love academies. Or is this
The safe pick is Expandable Odyssey, but it will be dependent on how they do in their first game, because if Licorice Whip does come out looking much better, I think they'll have a shot in day 2. But I'm still going to go with Expandable.
This is their game to win right here too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say Expandable.
Yeah,
have Raza prove me wrong.
Alright then, well, that is all the matches. Long prediction segment, but hey, you guys got to hear what exactly everyone thought about it. So, of course, VMT, you guys got to take a map. Come on, we all want to see Love do the shoey. Take that map, please. I'm begging you. Like, I'm begging you. Come on.
Well,
Anyways,
it's
guys.
one map for each game, right? So like,
yes, it's one match, one map in the first 3 maps for each game.
Okay.
So just a quick reminder for you guys. We do have Pugs 9 p.m. EST this Friday. Make sure you come out and say hello. I'll be hosting them. Owlet Stage 2 starts this Saturday, February 23rd. So a bunch of matches should be happening then. And I do hope you all did enjoy. This was The Nest with me.
Wait a second.
Oh,
I gotta plug something.
Okay. All right, let's hear this plug.
25 minutes. We've got Owlet's Coach's Corner. We've got Frumble coming in hot. He's going to be talking about some sick owl action. He had a straw poll up for you guys to vote on for your favorite Overwatch League match that happened. He's going to do a VOD review of it, as well as talk about some hero role theory sort of stuff. So if you want to learn a little bit more about Overwatch at a deeper level, okay, this was fun and all, but if you're ready to go back to school, okay,
get those fundamentals, Love.
Exactly. He puts the fun in fundamentals, and he's quite enjoyable to listen to. So, come tune in about 20 minutes. We're gonna have some good stuff for you guys.
Yeah, that's gonna be amazing. And I know what my vote is. I think it was all of Sunday was my favorite sort of owl match, because I think all
Sunday was just insane.
It was all 3-2. There wasn't a bad match on Sunday, and I think Atlanta, Philadelphia, with all
best
the trash
match.
With the trash talking going back and forth when you saw Defran and who was it? What's his name? Dogman just start yelling at the fusion side. Like I think it was after map 4. They were just like pointing and yelling at them. Excellent stuff.
Alrighty then. Well, this has been The Nest. I'm Prez. I was joined today by Jarate, LuvGangster, Hodahori, and while they're not here, Nekkra and LoBosco. Big shout out to Noella for making us those amazing graphics. And please, everyone, send your love to SilentMarine. He's an absolutely amazing producer and was able to put this together for us. And also give some love to Noah, who helped us test run this last night. I do hope you all did enjoy. And make sure you guys stick around for Coach's Corner, which is happening in exactly 23 minutes if all goes according to plan. So yeah, we will see you all later. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
No dabbing.
Oh, I dabbed.